That's good.
I'm moving, man. Better?
Okay, it's good. It's recording.
It's
Yeah, it's counting.
So, let me explain the great changes that occurred. I had a new brain cell.
Oh, God.
Fire. I've been in kind of a lull for a couple of years, really. And it happened for a couple reasons. One is I've worked with the most difficult kid I've ever worked with in my life, bar none. No one's even close. I'm talking 50 years. No one's even close. J.T. Mestall, who was the kid who really broke this program. He was a start one and got him really a beginning late 1 or 2. And he was the severest kid. He'd yawn like twice a sentence. And that went on for quite a while. Not even close.
Wow.
This kid's, we all know what happens with kids with dyslexia. In the womb, second trimester, what happens is cells migrate from the little part of the baby to the cortex. And the Galiberta and Geschwin found out that what happens with a lot of our kids is the brain cells that migrate tend not to, they have myopias and problems in the left hemisphere, and many of them flood the right. Okay. So that the areas that stimulate, especially the areas that stimulate here in the left temporal lobe, left ear, have moved actually towards the top or the right hemisphere. And the migration of that is what starts to cause the auditory issues that are early on in life. The, volcano, Pusketti, all those areas, that starts to cause problems there. And then from that issue, what happens is they have trouble with rhyming. All the things they picked up in early on in life, they can't rhyme. They have trouble processing certain languages, all because the right hemisphere. They start getting really good at, since this area is well developed, they start getting really good. Every kid I've ever worked severe is a Legos freak because they could create that with the right hemisphere. JT, who was the severest kid until I worked with Sumner, created an entire Legos addict. And not unusual. Again, it's right hemisphere. The left hemisphere is having issues with processing auditory information. So when you go to sound out a word, which is this part of the brain, Broca's area, which I help you remember it's Broca, it's not really, but they're dealing with poor auditory. So you're not stimulating Wernicke's area or the language area well. So you're getting foggy sounds. And the visual area down here, which is called the word form area, or the fusiform gyrus, whichever you want to call it, is not stimulated. Therefore, in kindergarten, when they're exposed to sounds, they're not picking it up. Sight words, of course, are going right over their head. And so when they go to first grade, they are the same boat they were in kindergarten because this doesn't go away. And so first grade, even if they have a systematic phonics program, you can't, in school, which I found at Stern, you cannot really deal with multiple starts effectively. They fall behind. That's if they have a good phonics program. So they may, by the second, third year, start to catch on. They'll still be behind. If they're, of course, not in a phonics program, they won't have a clue. And right around third grade, people go, whoops, there's something wrong here. And fourth, okay. But the area is the brain has not changed. Okay. You still have these processing problems. That's start 1, beginning 2. 3s, unless they've had a good phonics program, really just have less severe areas in this and have picked up stuff intuitively. If they've had a good phonics program, it allowed them to get to start 3. Because anyone who knows phonics knows you got to do short vowels and consonants. If you don't know that, you know nothing. But most people know, okay, and that's maybe all they know. Consonants and short vowels. So, these kids that are start 3 usually have more intuitive abilities. That's why we can move quicker. Start 4s basically have gaps. They may have not been taught well. They may have been taught with a phonics program that only got them so high. And what we do is we kind of pull it all together and start. So start 4s are fun, easy to go. Start 5, usually the issue is related to fluency or comprehension. That's why I developed the comprehension games, exercises. By the way, you'll notice on the comprehension I have reading level and grade level. Grade level is what the materials are aimed at. So it might have a grade level of 7th grade and a reading level of 6.5. Okay. You can use that for testing. You can put a kid, close activities, which is, it's also called maze, are looked at as good representatives of comprehension. And you can have a kid who's in 3rd grade, you're not sure where he is. You can quick do my survey and have him do the 3rd grade closure activity. And if he doesn't have a clue, that's telling you what you need to know. You know. So when the brain cell fired, and I'm working with Sumner, I tried everything with this kid. By the way, he owns every 2 words, still does. Every 2 words. Still does. I fed him chocolate. I did activities. We do a little bit, we shoot baskets. Then I did something where he had a buddy who was not going to start 2.5, and he could move quicker. And if they did perfect work for me for 25 minutes, we'd go shoot baskets, and they'd earn the baskets by doing tough stuff. And boy, he worked hard. Didn't matter. If he was tired, he came in right off the bat. I knew we were done. Done. Until I started to develop these activities. So he's the reason that I started to develop these activities. And I got an hour at Stern where I went to the principal. I had an hour when I was working and they changed schedule. And he said, well, just do what Malia needs. Malia's my partner. And she said, just make games, Steve. So that I made a lot of hands-on games, which we can talk about.
Yeah, that would be great. We also want to touch base on some of the curriculum changes as well. Like
Oh yeah,
the new
I'm gonna go through the lessons book,
Perfect.
everything, toward the start. So my plan is to give an overview of all the changes and why we did it, then go talk about the books, then go into the lessons book, and then go into some games.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we got an hour and a half, and I'm early, so we got an hour and 32 minutes.
Perfect.
So with Sumner, I went ahead and made a game. I made a sight word game. Now you'll notice there's 2 sight word sections now. And those are now in the lessons book. You have the beginning, which is from Shaywitz. And Shaywitz has 150 of the most frequent words. I pulled out the 50 real sight words, not the phonics words. Groups of 10. So there's 5 lessons there, okay? Okay, then I went and made some games. Okay, so, and there's a whole slew of them on WordWall. This is where I made it, but I basically purchased an advanced membership with him. And I made a WordWall game like Spin. Now we probably should get a screen that I can start showing this to.
We can use this.
And
Here we go. Already on.
I don't think you have full access yet.
Okay.
Full access means you can look at everything. And I'm just gonna make a deal with Steve on that, because I'm gonna give all the tutors in that full access to everything.
Amazing. Thank you.
With the idea that they don't share it. See, George and I are now a team,
Yes.
and this is gonna be his life.
Mhm.
So we can't give away the new stuff and just let people reproduce it. We can't give PDFs anymore. But we're gonna allow LearnUp to use what you have if you want, which is a deal for people
Yeah.
to, purchase that. The new stuff they'll get, from us. The lessons book, we'll have to talk to Steve about how that will look. But you guys will have full access to the site.
Awesome.
All right, so let me,
Yeah, I mean, if you want to hook up to this monitor, you can
Okay, so we need to get connected to the internet.
Okay. Oh, the internet, step one, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So over here, there's a little description. I wonder what the easiest way to do this.
What's that now?
I can take a picture and
Yeah.
you just bring it over.
Cool. Oh, actually, Mary, do you want to scoot?
Do you mind if I just like?
You do everything you want, connected to it, get it up and going. I'll tell you, George is such a whiz at this, he can get me in IRS, Social Security, like that, which you're on the phone for decades. And then he'll get me in there just like that. He's amazing. When it comes to that kind of stuff, he's just amazing.
Good skill.
And the website's a good example of what he's done. you know.
George did the website?
Everything, yeah.
Wow.
We did the books together and we
Yeah.
did the covers. I did primarily the pictures and he did, put it together with the covers. But he did the whole website by himself.
That is impressive. It
And
looks
that's
great.
all-
It looks very professional. There's another cord thing.
Well, not only that, it's different the way I used to do it, because he says most people are gonna buy it from the phone. So you don't no longer click on something, you roll it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he set this up based on people with phones.
Sorry.
Can you help us connect his computer to the monitor?
I think these two cords
It's
don't
right.
fit. I don't know if
Oh.
we have any other cords.
Is it USB-C?
Okay.
Or it's in Mac, right?
I have another.
Yeah, I
As
think
yours.
No, it's a different version.
Yeah, these could, these are big enough.
Is it the new one or the old one? I think that's.
So it can take like the.
I have this one too, but let me make sure I can get this up.
Yeah, these ones will connect to that one. If you
These what?
These cords will connect to that
All right,
laptop.
you check something here.
But if not, we can always look at your computer screen or something.
No, this should
Yeah,
work.
we can always use mine. Is there
All
a way
right, go ahead, can
Okay, cool.
that I could like make comments so that we can like know the differences? Yeah, I feel like,
How did George learn how to like design? If I open up the website.
Self-taught. The guy's a genius. He's
I don't know, yeah.
oh, well, he did work, he worked with Hollywood for a bit as an editor.
Oh,
And with some movies. But he says, you know, that's just how I was raised on computers. He said, because I'd say, like,
Good job,
we
Steve.
couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything. He said, well, Dad, just roll over the top of that. And said my name and my password popped up. Now, I would have never done that. Rolled over it and it appeared. Like, where did that come from? And he said, I said, why did you go to the top right, George? And he was like, well, they say if you've been doing this as a kid, it just comes. Isn't that cool?
super cool. It looks really good.
All right. So, so it's not on my screen. It's on.
Yeah, if you need.
All right, so you'll notice you've got home, phonics book, magnet, online course. So right now you'll be able to get into some of this, but not everything.
Change this.
And that's, is Steve in town or is he gone?
He's out of town this week.
He's where?
He's out of town,
Is he in Italy?
no, he's on the Colorado River, whitewater raft.
He's got the tough life. Phonics books, magnets. Okay, so here's the phonics book you can go to. Here's the magnets on board activity hub. All right, so with Sumner, I went ahead and I have the Tells of Youth activities. Now, what's cool about Tells of Youth? Number one, I made it appropriate now for 3rd, 4th, 5th graders. Just look at the covers.
Yeah.
Now, you haven't seen the pictures inside. I got rid of all the pictures and put in black and white. It's color, because that has kiddish pictures. And initially, that was my 1st, 2nd grade series. It still is. But if you have somebody lower, you can do the digital version of Carnival, which is kind of cool. But this, who was I talking to? Somebody, so thrilled with this because she works with ESL kids that are higher,
Laura?
primarily. And she said, this is night and day because we were using Tells of Youth for 4th, 5th graders. And it was kiddish.
Yeah.
That no longer is, all you gotta do, anyone that sees it kiddish, is show them the covers.
Has anything changed in terms of like the content in the books?
Nope,
Okay.
kept the content in the books because they've been successful. I didn't wanna fool with that. But the content and the closure activity following the books boost grade level. So it adds a couple more words that are add to grade level. Okay, so, all right, so the first thing I did with him is did the Tells of Youth comprehension. And so we were at, okay, so if you'll look at like Rascal the Pup is the first one we tried. That's where we were at. It's grade level 5th, reading level 2. So, this can be a complete program. This is where I'm gonna let you guys know so that you can deal with it as you want. But can be a complete, I'm using it as a homeschool program for a couple of my kids. And if you'll notice, the whole program is right here. So, one is a complete program. I'll say lost, don't say old.
Lost.
Yell, don't say yeah.
L.
Grass, don't say good.
Grass.
Or I can say lost, don't say t. Because, don't say z. Notice it's tougher. Lost, instead of ah, put in ah. Run instead of, you can see where I'm going with it. So you can do that. Now, I've become sold on this phonemic awareness. Initially, Kilpatrick, was talking, ranting and raving about it. I thought, well, our step tracking's dealing all with it. But I'm finding that the step tracking is dealing with engagement and dealing with Broca's and the manual. This is pure hitting the auditory cortex. So that's step 1. Step 2 is you do the 4-step method with the words. Okay, so just to review, what's step 1?
Phonemic awareness.
Read the words. So the child, if he can, will read them, or we can alternate, lost, yelled. All right, remember what step 2 is? Say the word, and the child will echo and point. Rabbit, and they'll go rabbit. Yelled, they'll go yell. Lost, they'll go basket. Step 3 is definition. All right, this is a little furry animal, rabbit. This is what these little furry animals run in, grass. This is to speak real loud, yell. This is like you don't have a clue, you're wandering around, lost. This is something Easter Bunny carries, basket. This is something you do in a race, we'll run, or running, okay? And, this is if I'm giving you a reason. I did this because, then I randomly point. Does that look familiar?
Yes.
All right, now, stop running at the rasket, I blanked. Now, why this is really good is kids that don't get it are reading word by word. They're not thinking ahead. So they'll just put in, or read the word and put in what makes, whatever. Stop running at the rabbit I lost. Because they're not paying attention. This solves that problem. Because I'll go, okay, what word makes sense? Let's go. Stop running at the rabbit I lost. I yelled. Whoa, that could make sense. I grass, I rabbit, I become, okay, yell, we grab, pull. This immediately made Sumner more active. Now, if he's tired, this doesn't work. Nothing works when he's tired. I would make a cliff, have him on top, and below it I'd have spears. And we would do a sight word act a game, and I'd say, you get this word, you get $1 billion, but if not, and my other student would get into it. He would draw it too. And if he's tired, oh.
Oh gosh.
We'd cheer and do it. I mean, it didn't matter what I did. It just did not matter because his left brain had migrated so much. By the way, he's the brightest kid I've ever worked with. He's going to be very successful. 40% of all entrepreneurs are dyslexic. Guy's gifted. Anything you got, he can make something of it. And he'd do it. He'd grab whatever was near and he'd make something. I go, cut that out. Cut that out. Yeah. Or he'd look at a poster and find a mistake. You know, shouldn't that picture be like this? I mean, he's just gifted. When I tell the mom about that, she'd go, really? This kid. The computer guy's also noticed his gift. The guy is gifted. He's going to do real well in life. But this is what I have the mom doing at night. It's this stuff. Our dog Rascal had a bad habit of blank after other pets. So the kids can't just put in lost, which is what he wants to do, lost after. So I will initially kind of go through them. Because, basket, running, which one makes sense? Rabbit. Really? Bad habit of rabbit after, do you ever think, and that's the kind of questions you'll be asked. So initially, it's going to be pretty controlled, but later on the kids figure out. It's got to make sense. And if they don't, once we get going, I'll allow them to make mistakes. Rascal's running at red basket. We called it red blank. It had a red ribbon on its neck. We called it because. Some kids must have blank their rabbit, must have grass their rabbit. It was in our blank and Rascal was after it. It was in our what? Lost? I can't think. It was in our grass. That may make sense. Some kids must have blank their rabbit. Oh, that's lost. Okay. And then we would check. All right. What goes there? Red the what? Rascal. Okay. Then we go to point 2. Now these are all from Tells of Youth. And then you have 3. Now with him, I would often do this rather than read the book because this made him more active. Generally, it's designed for you read the book and then you do this. Or if the kid's vegging, you go into this. Or you can review it. It makes them active. Okay? So I did this for every book in the series. Okay, so, and they get tough. Yeah. Now, I've gone through these, but I haven't had a personal editor. So once you've come across errors, let me know.
Okay.
I've gone through it, I've picked up a lot of errors, but it's hard to edit your own stuff. So there will be errors, just email it to me and we'll fix it. Once upon a time, I spent a month with a sea captain. He was rough and tough. So this is tough. This is the last book. And demanded blank. What did he demand? Well, again, we could have done someone without the s. Don't say s. Someone, don't say man. Instead of ass, say it. We could have done that. Then we did the 4-step method, right? He was rough and tough and demanded blank. Now, I now start to, by this point, he's looking himself and filling it in. We had more than blank work to do on the sailboat. We had more than enough. My mom sent my brother and me to the captain for discipline, positive direction. He's tough reading. She gathered information about him through the blank and text messages, through the internet, where he was described as a mountain of a boat man. He had us address him. So notice we're leaving out little words as well. Since we had no experience in this endeavor, he would have us mop the blank off the deck of the sailboat.
job, Steve.
What's that?
Good job, Steve.
Thank you. So, book for everything for tells you.
Steve, can I ask, in your experience, about how long do these activities take with a student?
Once he gets going, they'll nail that in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Would you spend less time reading since this also is like reading and comprehension as well, like less time in the book?
Will he what now?
If you were going to do this activity with this student, would you spend less time in the book so you can also do this activity, or?
I would, here, a couple ways to approach it. Once he's finished the book, you then do this.
Okay.
But I did it when he was inactive, because you don't have to finish the book to figure this out. So sometimes when he's inactive, I jump into it. I always have reluctant learners in the back of my mind, by the way. You can also do this do a little more of the activities on Friday. I call them games, but they're really work.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so this has been done. Now, I don't know if you are aware, but I've done the 26 concepts as well. So let's go back.
Steve, I have a quick question
Yeah.
about the Tales of Youth. I noticed that you have a distinction between the grade level and the reading level. What does the grade level mean? It's like
Grade level means this is fifth grade. This is a fifth grade book. Looks like a fifth grade book, but I put it at a reading level of 1. And basically, this wasn't my idea. I went to an analysis of my readings, and it would say grade level, and then I would go to Kindle Strong, I forget what that name it is, but I'd go to a grade level thing, and it would give me the reading level. And that's where all my work was, because I'd have to, what I wanted to do with these books, because my books will have like 0.8, 0.8, 0.8, 0.7. I wanted these to raise grade level as you went. So I manipulate, so you have a real grade level once you're through with Ocean Fun. Let's go to Ocean Fun.
So how did you gather these grade levels?
I went to, let's see I think I got this on my other.
Do you mind if I close this window?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it gets a little, yeah.
You can close as much as you want to. Be careful.
Flesh Kincaid. So on the internet, Flesh Kincaid I would go to. And again, George and I found, because we looked at others, that they'll vary from one to another. It just doesn't matter. I've been used Flesh initially, and what I would do is I would take a paragraph, get a Flesh, and if it was like 0.8 and I wanted it 1, I would play with the words or sentence structure. The things that change grade level are sentence structure when you're starting to get into compound complex sentences, and the syllables of the word are the major things that produce grade level. So, Ocean Fun. So here, definitely we don't say, man don't say and wet don't say whoop, or man don't say or man, okay, we do that. 4-step method. It is fun to sit in the sun, sand, and dig. Oh, and dig, it's gotta be it. My dog blanked to dig as well, loves. He will dig and blank sand. He will dig and toss sand. He runs and gets blank, and notice how this makes them think and get beyond word by word reading. And we're doing that right away. Because Sumner is a prime example. He looked at the world as one word, and it could be any word coming up. There's no prediction to it. That was the problem. He runs and gets blank in the ocean wet. Then he runs to me and blank me wet and gets me wet. We run to the shed and grab the blank and put him in the sand. Oh, cat. The cat will hiss at us. So I usually have one extra word. Okay. Then we submit.
As we're doing this, I noticed there's no images as well. Can you have like your book out physically in front of you to just have the picture associated
You
with
could,
this? Or do you typically?
I'm trying to move them, but you sure can. Well, here's the deal, if they cannot do it and cannot get the prediction to do that, that's a good, see, the remediation is always if they can't do the activity, you back up. So pictures are, it's a good thought. All right, now we're at 1:43. So it took us 1:43 seconds. I'm gonna wait till it's on the hour or the half hour. Oh, let's see. Hold on. Okay. I'm gonna wait till the time is at the hour. I stay right here. I'll do it at 15. On your mark, get set, go. It's fun to sit in the, beat the clock and dig my toe. So once he finishes, I look at the clock, and it took like 15 seconds. And then I wait till it's on the half hour. Ready? Go. We do just like beat the clock. The first time I called code because he's really just reading it. No, he's not playing with it. And then I give 3 or 4 punches. So I want you to look. Phonemic awareness, advanced phonemic awareness, vocabulary and the 4-step method, accurate reading, contextual reading, fluency beat the clock. It's a package. It's a great homework package. Yeah. All right.
Hypothetically, for like, if I were to use this with a reluctant student, right? Would you recommend if we did our first reading ever of the book this way, or should I?
No.
Right.
Again, it just depends. I would be, like we do, because what we do works. We go in the ocean floor. Unless a kid can't function, and he just is all over the place. Then I'll try, that's what I did with Sumner. With Sumner, this helped him attend. So he's one, I once started using this rather than, going into the books. Because his whole issue is, how do I get him to not yawn every 2 words? That's #1 goal, and this helped lower that. But usually you're reading the book and then go into this. So it's just your next reading, so you ready? And then let's say during the day he's bored and listless and you're at like the last page of it, you can hop into this and do the first one. Again, you can do this without reading the book because it makes sense. All right, so this is it. So for Telsa youth people, you have this. You have the concepts, the 26 concepts, which we just put up. And you have sight word list 1A. Sight word list 1. Okay. So those are 3 things you can work, and I'll show that to you.
If you'd already read through the book and you had a student who was struggling a bit more with comprehension and was a little tired or reluctant, could you read some of this to the student and just have them pick the words to go in?
You could. You could. My point is we hopefully have handled that in the book through pressure release. Because this is meant as the capstone. Raises grade level. You actually have a grade level you can put from this. Raises grade level, so it's kind of the capstone. But if the kid doesn't have clue, absolutely, as a way, again, dropping back to show them that reading makes sense. This has been so wonderful to get kids to recognize it's not, the next word can't be just anything. It's got to make sense. Sumner, as bright as he is, just would not get that. Just would not get that. All right, now, then I thought, okay, this is cool. So, comprehension. I thought, okay, do I do this for all the books? I thought that's insane, it'll drive me crazy. I thought, well, what I can do is go with, starting with, the upper level, Moonlight Sunlight. I can have the first story always deal with moonlight until we run out. and then the others from other series, because it makes sense. So this is grade level 1. This is if you've done the fog. So notice this is tough stuff. It's getting tougher. You've read the fog and they're filling it in. This is 1.5. I need to look at that. That's the reading level. Great. Yeah. This would be 5th grade 1 point, so that's something I need to look at. Number 2 is dealing with sunlight tales. And number 3 is dealing with the Earth from Chronicles of York. All at the same grade level, or 1.8. Well, this is telling what each story is, 1.8. But then I have a general grade level of this whole thing. Okay. So, all right, so now this generally is 2.5, and it's dealing with the vowel tag. I put, in both my games and this, I put Orton language and our language. Right now, all this is going to be free. The games in that. Goal is to attract people to the website program and to help people anyway. So, go ship. Ship pulled the dock in New Orleans and had a figure on the cells that blank like a corpse. Combat pass looked. All the men on the docks had heard of the blank on the ship called Misty, had heard of the attack. The Texans wanted to talk to Arnold about what blank happened. Dr. Ralph quickly commented on attack. He said that they needed to develop film, which was shot as he had blank the ghost ship, as he had passed. So this requires a lot of thought. And they're going to make mistakes, and then once they get them in, I'll say, well, this one doesn't make sense. That means you got another one that won't make sense. That make sense?
Makes sense.
The ship had shot cannon blank at Dr. Ralph's. He had promised that he would find these blank. He would also figure out what blank ghost was up to, what this ghost was up to. Moonlight, grade level 7, that's how it came out in Fleshkin Cave. And the reading level's 2.5. So for the kid, I'll say this is 7th grade. I want, you know. All right, so we did that. Now what do we do? I would do this actually even before I check it. Well, no, let's see. Okay, good. Now what, let's see, probably before we check it. Oh no, I can always go back to it, that's fine. Then we do what, once we finish it?
Take the clock.
And the timer's right up there, remember, you don't need to, that's what I like about this. So it took you, notice it took me 1 minute and 30 seconds. These things can be done quickly once they're there. With some, they're like, it would take them 6, 7, 8 minutes, maybe. First time, but he'd get down to 3 minutes, 2 minutes, beat the clock. So I'd start right now, and we'd time him. And then if he took like 25 seconds, I'd do it again at 2:30.
How much help did you give Sumner with like the reading of these sections? Like, would you often like jump in and help him read certain words, or did you?
Well, if I've done the 4-step method properly with Sumner, he could read everything. So if he could, anybody can. In other words, we got to this point with the reading. But same thing as I'd point to the word. If he misses the word, same thing, pressure. By the time we're doing repeated reading, he could read it.
Right.
So after he made like 2 errors, you would jump in for a little bit with pressure?
Initially, absolutely. Later on,
Yeah.
I'll go, wait a minute, let's look at this. That doesn't make sense, does it? No. That means another one doesn't make sense. So let's go back. Was there another one we had questions about? Yeah, see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd go back. It's a real comprehension activity. All right, so we have the older level comprehension and we have the younger level tells you youth. So Tells a Youth now is a much more viable series for everyone. Whereas before it was clearly a kiddie series, no longer is that. Stories the same. The stories weren't really very kiddish either, like the flying saucer. There's some scary things going on in there in the attic. I just made the pictures correlate with the story rather than. Okay. All right. So.
So Tales of Youth is the only activity that has this comprehension section?
Well, not really, because with the Tales of Youth, we can use for any elementary. So if you're dealing with Tales of Adventure or whatever, you have a choice. If the kid's comprehending well, you can go to the comprehension series and go with with closed syllable. When you're at the vowel tag, you can go to the vowel tag book. If they need work in an area, you can go to Tales of Youth. But I primarily went after the two biggest series. So I also have this for boot camps at Kevin. I have this for boot camp. Okay. All right, so let's get back to the activity how sight works. All right, 50 concepts. Again, I took the 150 list. 100 of those are phonetic words, like make, spent. So I took out the 50 real, though there's a couple words that aren't pure sight words, but they're used so much, the kids get them wrong, so I put them in there. It's my experience. All right, so let's go to this. Now this is sticky. Now in the new lessons book, I have these lists for you, the review before you go to the game. But if you didn't, you can do this, have, the, gotta be, it's tricky. Have. Well, I would basically practice in the lessons book. The goal is beat the voice. That's what you gotta do.
If you had a student who was good at these, could you mute it and just have them read the words?
Sure, you can do that, absolutely. I think you click this, spin it. All right, so we practice the words. See, sometimes you can just move this, without it spinning. Maybe it's
Working on mine, I can do it without it spinning.
Okay.
Privately
Oh no,
trained?
here's it. You don't enlarge it, you can do it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I thought you could. Anyway, let's get. Now this worked with he never yawned during this activity. Never yawned. He went through 3 lists, that's 30 sight words with this. We're now at list 4. I'm working with the mom in the summer program. All right, so let's enlarge. All right, so Sumner, you ready? Yeah. Doesn't get credit for it. Wood. He can eliminate that one. Have. Eliminate that one. See how that works? So this spinner I use a lot for words. You'll see this activity a lot. Then the goal is to beat his time. So if it takes him 5 minutes to get through it again, I keep track of that, and the next day I say, we gotta beat 5. Once he gets fluent where he's nailing it quickly, like, in a minute or less. I mean, you got 10 words, a minute is like 6 seconds per word. If he can get fluent, it's what you just go to list B. Then you go to list 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B, and keep moving. This worked for him, he never yawned. That's what got me going. Once I saw this and he yawned less on the other, that's when things changed for me. I ended up getting him doing 100 activities, all because of Sumner.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I was insane for a while. And then all the covers, we were doing all the covers at the same time.
Wow.
The covers was the fun part. I'd spend hours on the cover because I'd have put it in on AI, and I might have to try 10 to 15 different covers to get the one I wanted, you know. All right, so that's that.
For the books, have the grade levels changed at all as you went through?
Books are the same, grade level.
Okay.
Everything's the same, except what's different is if you're doing the close activity for the fog,
Then it goes
it's
on.
going up a bit.
Okay, cool.
All right, so this is another one. Again, you can review the words in the lessons book first. Again, it's beat the voice. R. It's pretty quick. Bay. Tie, no good. So same kind of thing, I just varied it a bit. Okay?
And did you say that you, with Sumner, you have him do this from home with his mom as well?
Oh yeah, I've spent time with her. In fact, I'm calling her hopefully today because we had to break off a bit while the website was getting completed. I had her a way to get in. But yeah, I'm gonna call her and check in to see how it's going, make sure she knows how to use this. I called her and left a message on that, the new website's up, you get it this way. But, and the other kid I'm working with, he's going at a little faster pace, and I'm checking in, I'll check with her like today or tomorrow. All right, so let's look at another one. Open the box, game show quiz. Now, some of them aren't real clean, but that obviously is not. Oh, so I make the kids, and I might have them say all the words. You're these many so. Good. So. Your. These do your, each, your. Okay. So not quite as loud as it could be. Flying fruit. This you gotta be pretty good, so to do flying fruit, you gotta kind of know your stuff.
Ooh, I love that.
No, that was my favorite.
Fun. Pass. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Two. Over. I'll have the kid read them as they come. Two. Over. Maybe I heard the wrong word. We're wrong. Fine. Two. Let me hear that again.
Fine.
Oh, find. Okay. So.
Only.
Only. Has. Only. Has. So you can see this is fun.
Do you switch between like 1A and 3B with like students, or do you only move on once they've kind of mastered the words that are in
Once I'm
1A?
doing pretty good on one, I always go back and review the previous.
Okay.
So just because we've done it doesn't mean we've done it. It's the same thing in the program. So if I might warm up with 1A, which now they can do like that. And then like with Sumner, because he didn't yawn, we would do a couple of these.
Okay.
We would do it to start, and then I'd go into the maze technique. And then if he started yawning a bit, we'd take a break and go back to this. Okay. All right, so that's the cycle. So we end up with, this is the middle high school. Now for the middle high school, what I did is I went through Moonlight Tales, Sunlight Tales, per chapter, per book, and took out the sight words per book. And they're great middle school sight words, you'll see. And this is in the manual. So the manual, place of Shaywitz, it'll have the basic 50, and then it'll have middle high school. So let's look at the first list. It says Shaitwitz 150. 2A, 1A, common. 2A. Where's 1A? Common.
I know it's so stuck.
Oh no.
I tried so hard.
Oh. Yeah, the
It's
windows.
like, yeah, it needs to be there.
Weird.
I find that sometimes it's better to go from the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make you want to.
No, I'm cold too.
This is better.
So I want you to look at these sight words from Moonlight. They, their, said, laughed, friends, knocked, people, would, could. Great sight words. That's in book 1 of Moonlight, Sunlight. Okay. Let's move up to like book 6. Oh, this is a different game. But look at these words. Everyone, no, wait, anyone, enough. Show good sight words. So this is upper level sight words. So notice, because the word form area is not firing well, I didn't focus a lot on it. Now, with the game, that motivation, because flashcards and all that don't work, the motivation got me to do the beginning. Now with these, word form area is not a big problem if you're, in Moonlight, Sunlight, it's not as big a problem. So we can do that. Let's look at what this looks like. Flip. Let's play.
Searchlight.
What? There we go. Spinner. So we hit the spinner. Sign.
Sign.
Now this one, the teacher hits the play. So you can give a little more time, or the kid can hit play. Sign. Okay, so I flipped that, got that. Back. Random, I can shuffle too if I want a different order.
Ooh.
Random spinner. Searchlight.
Searchlight.
Okay. So, again, you'll see in the lessons book, I have these words listed. So you can work there before you go to the game.
So is this the right example page, like page 140?
No, that has nothing to do with that.
Oh.
That's gone.
Oh.
Because I had too much confusing stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have spelling sight words, I'd have spelling and below the book, I had all this. What I've done is I've made it very clean. You have reading sight words, which is the Shaitwitz
Yeah.
reading sight words, and then this. And then I have the spelling sight words, which are at the bottom of the lessons book. And that was confusing. So it starts like with 2
Right,
and
and each
AR, yeah.
concept.
it's that. So that's, I wanted to simplify it. It was confusing before. What's up with all these sight words, Steve? Now, they're the same sight words. They've just been, I've just
So
kind of,
this is in the newest version?
what's that?
This isn't like an even
This
newer
is
version?
what this is a very practical version of sight words. I didn't have a practical system. My view was that we got to stimulate the word form area. So here's the 150 Shaitwitz, but I didn't push it as much as I'm doing now, which is now it can be a big part of the program, and it also motivates. If I'm reading and the kid's dying on me, I'll take a break and go here to the game. Always work with Sumner. Worked with him, it'll work with anybody. That was my baseline. Works with him, it'll work with anybody. They get hard though, let's say. List 8. Certain, woman, women, daughter, rhythm, process, convince, machine, especially unusual. These are good sight words. Right? All right, so if somebody having Moonlight and Sunlight, When they finish a book, I'll go to the comprehension, the upper level comprehension. Like if I'm in the fog, I'll go there, and then it'll have other things. And then I'll be working the sight words. If I'm in book 1, these are the sight words, or book 8, these are the sight words. That make sense? Okay. Now, let's go. Okay. Phonemic awareness is developing. I'll show you what I try to do here. We have to put, by the way, we're going to have to put information on that. So open one. Cut off the first sound. Lip. Ramp.
Ramp.
Okay. Phonemic awareness, cut off the first sound, don't say last sound, etc. I need to add to these. I just experimented with it, and I think, what do you think of that?
That's very cool.
I had a question.
Yeah.
I remember when you were going over phonemic awareness, you mentioned that like the auditory part is important, where like the tutor says tramp, and then the student replies with ramp. So with this, I feel like it's more of the student like just trying to read that second part. So I just wanted to. Yeah.
Well, with this, they don't even have to look at the words, but I mean, I can do it without them even looking.
Right.
They could also hear the voice
Yeah.
too, right? Okay.
And it depends. Initially, I'd have them look to see what's going on, but then I could have them do it without looking. Good question. All right. So we did phonemic awareness, kindergarten, phonics activities. This has just been added. I'm not sure. There are probably some errors here. But concept 1, CV, concept 2, teams, concept 3, hungry roll.
Do you ever use like phonemic awareness games that have like a token, for example, to help the students understand?
No problem. Is, you know, initially, that's step 2. If they're not getting fin, I'll put a token there, and then don't say, and we'll move that tile up.
Yeah.
All right, hungry words. Fetch. Pitch. Latch. Fill. Like. The X. Reach. Oh, so you're got it. Okay. So it's 700. Teams and blends. Let's see. Vowel suffixes, matching pairs. Most. S, bummer. One who are more. Like, bummer. Plurals. S. Okay, so, matching pair.
Nice.
Maze chase.
Oh wow.
Okay, so what's the deal here? This I don't, suffix ing. Okay. Active.
Students love that game.
Yeah.
Like it's like cat.
Come on, get
With
back
the
up there.
there's one that has the pattern of consonant suffixes versus vowel
Yay.
suffixes. That's one that they like.
Oh. No, I just
So-
do the
So a game for each concept. So again, if here it tells a youth, You can do the games for the concept, you do the sight words and this. Now, how does it fit in the schedule? We have our regular schedule. That's, you've taught a concept, they got it. You can do this for the review. And you can review other concepts during concept. Friday, you can do more of a game day. Putting in, you know, doing the crucial parts, but that's where you could definitely be doing the reading. Dropping the silent, whack-a-mole. Hit moles that are correct, shameful. Oh, shame plus full. Whoop. Oh, I'm supposed to be doing silent. Okay. Type plus aim. There you go. Use plus full, type plus aim. Shame plus full. Use plus evil. Careful. I need better directions here, making. Hopeless.
What does it mean by correct?
Hit moles, yeah, and that's what I should have said. Hit words that hit the silent E rule. This is the
Like
minus
Wolverine?
rule, the minus rule. Okay, let me see what it says.
Yeah.
All right, so I need to make a correction. These are the kind of things you need to email me about.
Dear Steve.
I noticed that the moles are not molding.
90. All right, once you know it's for the minus rule, that makes sense. Let's see if I do other crazy things like that. Oh, this is good, because kids have trouble with the LE. So. Middle.
Middle.
Yeah, so it's all consonant LE. All right, so that's the phonics. Okay, we got 35 minutes, okay?
Are we gonna have time to go through the lessons book a bit
Yes,
more?
we are. We're gonna go there in just 1 minute.
Cool.
Oh, shoot.
It might be. Can you see your mouse? Sometimes. Let me see. If you swipe it to the right, swipe your mouse to the right.
Or,
There we go. I think she's back.
beautiful.
I always get so confused with monitors.
You can change it so that it goes down and up.
I can't wait to practice these games.
I know these games are fun.
All right, my problem is I downloaded it on the other computer.
Mm.
Wait, I don't need the internet for it. So can I connect this? Oh, no, it can't connect. can it?
Yeah, it's not the
Let me see.
internet. It's the cords.
Let me see if I've got it here. No.
I guess you could send it to yourself from your computer.
What are you looking for?
Oh, that's an idea. My lessons book.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't connect this to the internet.
We also have the
No,
lesson.
that can connect to the internet. It just can't connect to the monitor.
Oh, okay. All right, you want to connect it?
Yeah. It's already connected to Wi-Fi. It just won't connect to the monitor. But if you want the monitor, you can also use my laptop. It has the lessons book.
I'm not sure.
This is a new one.
We don't have access to
Oh, gotcha.
I mean,
gotcha.
you've got the basics, but it's,
Might we be able to get like a sample version to look through
Of the books or the.
of the newest lesson book?
We only have those videos. Wow, constantly updated. That's very good.
all right, so.
Has this version been printed?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it has been. We're just getting a lot of stuff. I'll show you some of the books in there.
So quiet.
Just pondering.
Just pondering.
We have a little trouble here, let's see.
Do you need any help?
Yeah, I use this for my email. Where's my mail here?
So, are you going to Gmail or?
Yeah, just the Google Mail here.
Let me see. I think. Oops.
Usually it's located there.
Yeah, I think you could. Is it a Gmail account? Because I think you can log in that way. Is that you?
Yeah.
Do you need help,
Alright, so this is.
Oh yeah, if you push from the top, that's the only way I can download it.
And sometimes.
Oh, sorry, like pushing, yeah. So like I
Well,
do it
from
on
that
one
side.
side.
Wait,
Yes,
from the right side.
This is where the
Nice.
school keeps me out.
Is it
Alright.
okay?
You know what I can do is just show it on the computer.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, there's.
Are you chilly still?
No, it's better.
Okay.
Alright, so we got people gather around.
Yeah.
Just bring your chairs and gather around where I'm telling, but this is how we're gonna have to do it.
I can hold it. I don't know, or maybe it would be better on them.
I don't know, I was gonna do this.
That's silly. Maybe that's silly. This is probably not a good way.
Or attach
You
it
can't
to your
see
chair?
it.
Do you want?
Oh, there we go.